Hello everyone, my name is Hubert Kaczorowski and I would like to thank Isaca Budapest chapter for having me today. Today I would like to talk about vulnerability management in the aspect of managing critical vulnerabilities. Maybe a couple words about me. I am Isaca Warsaw chapter member. I am also former auditor for standards like PCI DSS and PCI CP. I built my experience as a CISO, security officer, and auditor, as well as consultant. So I had the opportunity during that time to sit on both sides of the table. Now, at present, I am a technical account manager for Central Eastern Europe in Qualys. Let's go to the topic. The vulnerability management program is the major part of risk management strategy. And the risk-based approach is the fundamental for what we call good practices. We can find it in more local and international regulations, and also in standards like COVID, ISO, PCI family, and of course, do not forget about the GDPR. Some of the standards are more strict, but more of them are open and flexible. The second approach from this has very special and practical aspect, because it is always organizational responsibility to make the program to mitigate its risk. And this program must fit to organization needs, size, and the profile, and other aspect. It, of course, also creates a problem, because there is no universal template. And in case of, example, the audit or investigation, we need to prove that we are doing it right and our program works properly. But you cannot protect what you don't know. Yes, first of all, you need to have the visibility. This is a major problem to be solved, because as a base, we need to have proper inventory and monitoring of constantly changes assets. Nowadays, in our dynamic environment, the asset inventory we had yesterday could be different than what we have today. In some environments, it is a matter of hours and not days. To make the asset inventory properly, we need to identify all the assets that we have in our environment. The known, those are those which are managed and have its owners, business and technicals. Unknown is the infrastructure in elements that are in use but with no clearly assigned ownership, usually not properly managed. There is a tip, yes, for some of you probably know how to find business owner for the assets. You just need to cut it off from the power supply or network, then just wait, and in most cases, someone will run with fire to IT department, usually shouting a lot, and then, congratulations, you have a business owner. Yeah, and in case no one came, yes, this goes to another category, obsolete. And the obsolete assets are those that are sometimes doubled for some reason, or we not properly end service of them, and they're still existing in the infrastructure, consuming resource, and actually being the ticking bomb as the vulnerabilities are collecting on it. It is usually what I can observe in the virtual environments, but this is not a rule. Of course, there are rogue assets, completely unmanaged by IT department, installed without any authorization. They can make harm to our infrastructure intentionally as a part of attack vector, or unintentionally, like bringing your own device without permissions, or to install private access point to use social media without company surveillance. All those assets that we collect and identify, we need to be sorted by function, the type of hardware or software. And when we have the whole inventory, the next step will be the identification of vulnerabilities. But the question is where to look for them. Some of locations or ways are more obvious, like asset configuration. Hardening the system can be sometimes a big struggle, and it is actually good to have the major function, yes, define the major function for the assets and verify the configuration also, for example, against sys benchmarks. So yeah, then we can have more assurance about that. And the operating systems, they are the major part that we focus our attention on when searching for vulnerabilities. That's because this process is usually well supported by the vendors, especially the major ones. But there is also a problem because of that we focus on our attention on this. The more efforts are constantly, yes, focus on the OS patching only. And this is also what I experienced as an auditor, that yes, when sometimes there was a discussions about that, yes, the companies find out that this is what we do and this is enough, but surely it is not enough. So where we should look further? So for example, Adobe, which is never disappointing when we talk about security gaps, but also Java, which is usually not updated in structured process. The next one is internet browsers. When unsecured, those applications are the wide open gates for malicious activity, including also ransomware. And finally, less obvious places, but not less risky, like graphic card drivers. Probably not many of you verify them for vulnerabilities, and this is not because of negligence, but because of lack of resources. This process, if not supported by proper tools, can be really time-consuming. That's obviously not all the list. There is a plenty of other places to search, because every environment is different. Yeah, as you can see, the whole iceberg. There's a lot of numbers of vulnerabilities that can be really significant. But for the purpose of this presentation, I will focus on the critical only, and it doesn't mean that the number will be smaller. And how about the process of removing vulnerabilities? This is quite obvious, we can say. We need to install patch, if it is available, change the version, or in some cases, change the configuration. But the problem is where to start. Yes, this is the main problematic thing. Yes, we have a lot of them. Specification of environment, the specification of assets and threat itself that are on this asset can create a situation that even the same vulnerability will determine different level of criticality to given environment. Yes, usually, yes, well, this is not an equal thing. We need to prioritize. But what we need to know to find out the best prioritization effort is to know which we should address first, and for the proper consensus decision, which action is the best. We need to find out, yes, what is the potential impact that could be done to loss of data in case of compromise, as for the regulatory reasons, and also, yes, for protect our goods. Is the threat can be easily spread across the environment? Is this threat vulnerable type, or could create denial of service? If it's not possible to patch, is there any other ways to mitigate potential risk? Yes, we can create some kind of the compensations. It's possible to exploit without any authentication, or the malicious code could be executed remotely. And of course, we need to remember about the time of patch availability from the publication date. It is really crucial, as security bulletins are not read only by security professionals. Yes, the attackers are usually really intelligent people. Another aspect is verification of existence of active threats. What is the type of threat? Is this a malware, zero-day type? Yes, we need to behave a bit different, yes, and to adjust these actions. Much help will be the information if the exploit is, for the vulnerability is publicly accessible. That also increase the level of criticality, as it gives the possibility to not even skilled attackers to make the good execution of the exploit. And last but not least, yes, we need to look for the attack surface. In the scope like the running kernel surface, is there a technical constraint preventing from mitigating the risk by asset reconfiguration? It could be also. And if the gave asset could be accessed remotely, or this is internet-facing resources, this is another layer that we need to put on this. So as we can see, there is really a lot of variables in this equation. In constantly changing environment, the time for addressing the threat is mercilessly running out. Yes, we all the time run out of time. As you can see, creating and maintenance efficient vulnerability management program based on the risk-based approach is not a trivial task. The IT departments have always lack of resources. This is what I also observed. This is not, no matter how big they are, there is always lack of resources, time, people, and knowledge, and tools usually. The environments are more dynamic these days, and year after year, even more, and they're changing constantly. Sometimes, as I told, yes, from day to day. So our inventory of risk assessment needs to be kept that pace that we have, and be up to date. Also, this whole process. And Qualys was looking at that situation that we have on the market, also collect the information from our customers and try to find out the good way is how to help our customers to secure their organizations efficiently. And that's how we create VMDR, a platform that could support management lifecycle. And for that, from the discovery phase, we collect in one place the whole inventory of the assets, all assets that you have in the environment, with the details like hardware and software configuration, system and network information, open ports, etc. Yes, to give the right information and to correlate, yes, how they work together, and also, yes, to compare the hiring process, for example. For the report and research phase, we collecting all the vulnerabilities, but this is, yes, already vulnerabilities for all assets that were gathered. So this is specific environment. Vulnerabilities are classified by potential vulnerability and confirmed type, categorized by severity with the description of threat, and of course the solution, how to proceed with this. Verification of exploitability and correlation to patch. of course, as I mentioned before, if the patch exists. For the prioritized threats phase, we have efficient prioritization process to remove threats faster and in the right queue. You can create prioritization report based on the vulnerability age, real-time threat indicator, and attack surface. And this tool is also supporting faster elimination of risk from environment and also makes the life easier for the team responsible for patch release. And it could also be a good form of compliance evidence to show clearly why some vendor critical packages, yes, that was described as by the vendors as the critical, are not needed to be installed. Yes, to have this proof. And the remediation phase and patch, this part of the module gives you the possibility to create and manage patch jobs, to conduct automated patch jobs, and or scheduled, yes, during the maintenance windows. This can easily also choose superseded patches, yes, that make the possibility to patch quicker, and of course, in the consequence, to make the maintenance windows shorter. I'd like to invite you to our website, www.qualis.com, when you can find more information about the VMDR, as well as our other modules, the widespread of our products. And please also be invited to our Qualis booth when we can have a further discussion. I would be really happy to have you there. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you.